All right. There it is.
Welcome everybody to San Diego Comic-Con KWK Kayfabe Hero Series 1 edition. My name is Jeff and I'll be your host for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Sitting next to me is my real life brother, not storyline brother, Scott. And joining us today is the creator, the mastermind behind the KWK Kayfabe Heroes line, Sean Ing. How are you doing?
Hey guys, good morning on my end. Literally just woke up not too long ago, so I'm kind of sleepy, but here I am.
You got to get that coffee in you some way.
Yeah, it's on its way right now, so I'm waiting. So don't be surprised that I may end up having to pop out just a little bit to my door just to get my coffee.
Well, in the meantime, let's talk some figures because your series 1, as announced by Yoshi Tatsu, will be going live August 1st for pre-order.
Right.
Let's go over the Yoshi Tatsu figures if you don't mind.
Sure.
Cool if we look at some images there, Sean?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
You got it. Let's fire them up.
How many total figures are there of Yoshi and variations, I should say?
There's going to be 4 different variations. One of them, this one is going to be the one that you guys are showing right now. This one is going to be the Asia Ocean exclusive. So it's going to be for Asia, it's going to be for Australia, it's going to be for New Zealand. Mm-hmm. And you guys will see the other picture where the mask is on. The prototype does not have a string on the mask, but the final product will have the string on the mask, so you can literally put it on like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right, so we'll jump over to the next image here.
This one is going to be international. It's going to be a worldwide release, so basically you're going to get it everywhere, whether you're in the UK or in the US or you're going to be in Asia. This one will be everywhere as well. Yeah.
Okay, and this will be through Asylum Store as well out in the US.
Through Asylum in the US, through Wrestling Merch in Canada, Rock and Roll Collectibles in UK and Europe, and Wrestling Collectibles NZ in New Zealand and Australia, also the KWK store as well.
That won't be the last time you'll be hearing that on this episode.
Yeah, we'll play it again in a minute. All right, so we'll move on to the next image here.
Yeah, that's that's also going to be the international release, and if you can see later, you'll see he will have a half face face paint, so you'll see that. Yeah, that's the Asia, New Zealand, Australia release. And that's going to be the 1 of 100 exclusive for Yoshi Tatsu himself. He will be selling at conventions and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And the last one?
Final image.
And that's the one that I was talking about. The half face paint. This is going to be the worldwide release as well.
Okay, and there will also be variations sent out as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, all of the ones you see right now are a prototype. So these will be the 1 of 3 prototypes that will be the chase figures. And then there's going to be 2 versions of test shots. One is 1 of 5, the other one is 1 of 10.
Got it. These look beautiful, man. They look fantastic.
Give me a second. I just need to go pick up my coffee. Really, like they're calling me just now.
No problem. Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So we've got a big one coming up next too. So I can't wait for Sean to get back to share this one with you guys. So let's stop the screen share here for those images.
Those figures look fantastic.
They really do look good. Yeah, I love that Yoshi Tatsu figure. That thing is awesome.
Again, these are all in the prototypes, so we will have a little bit more conversation with Sean when he gets back with his coffee.
Yeah, I'm right back. Say I just popped back up right here.
All right, start down in that coffee, man. We gotta get good. We're gonna get going.
I need that coffee real bad. I swear to God today. I literally just slept for 2 hours because this has really been
A week.
quite tiring. Let me just say that.
Well, it's San Diego Comic-Con season. Of course it's going to be tiring, right?
Yeah. So a lot was going through and everything else. So that's why. But yeah, here we are.
All right, Sean, before we get into your next figure, actually, it's your next two figures. There's somebody really special waiting to come in to talk about it.
Yeah.
I say we let him in. Let's see what happens.
Sure.
There he is.
Hey, Paul. He's connecting.
He's connected.
I think he's muted.
Yep, he's muted.
Well,
I'll send him a message.
I would like to give a proper introduction. This is the great PN News of WCW fame of early 1990s. He will be having a figure from the KWK line as well.
There's the man himself. Hello.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going? Everybody all right?
We're doing good, man. How are
Absolutely.
you doing over there?
Fantastic. Thanks for bringing me on the show.
Paul, I'd like to first ask you, how does it feel to finally have a official mainline release figure?
That's a good question. I really hadn't thought about it up till now. All I know is like the Galoob prototypes that were made out that have made of me. I think there were 5 of them all together. I think there's 3 that are out there and they're being collected. And I've heard that it's like one of the most expensive wrestling figures of all time. So
Absolutely.
that's kind of cool. But this is neat that I get a wrestling figure coming out. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how the fans take it. I never take myself too seriously, so so it's not like I'm going to mark out too much about it. But no, it's kind of cool.
Leave the marking out to us because we're super excited about this.
And when we
Right,
found out,
thank
we
you.
did mark out big time. I can just say this figure is long overdue.
Cut it out. I'll pay you guys that money later. Thanks.
Well, Sean, can you kind of go into the details about the figure?
Basically, when I approached Paul about it, and Paul was like, there's one specific design that he really wanted, and there's one particular design that I felt, especially for the Galoob fans, that would really want that design. So, and then initially I was thinking about trying to get more designs, but I thought it may be better to stick with 2 particular ones. One is one that Paul feels is the most iconic for him, and another one is one that was the version that was unreleased in the Galoob style. So not only we can attract the fans that are into the whole thing, especially the ones that are into the Galoob line as well. So we can kind of somewhat like merge the 2 together, and to keep the interest going.
Paul, there's a
You know what,
huge...
guys? That's you know what? I think Sean's a really good businessman, and you can see how big his brain is. He's really put a lot of thought into this and stuff. So we've been contacted. I really appreciate the work he's and the effort he's put into it. That's for sure.
Well, Paul, there's a lot of fans that are clamoring for your figure. A lot of fans that were hoping that the early WCW Galoob would have come out, and unfortunately it never did, but we will be getting it in the KWK line.
Sean, are you okay if we show some pictures?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Let's do it.
Go ahead and describe this a little bit, going to the prototype.
That's the first prototype. I always felt, and if you saw some of the videos that when PN News came out to the ring, it would always have a microphone, like pointing fingers at the crowd and whatnot.
Mhm.
So that's when you see one of the hands with the fingers like sticking out,
Mhm.
and then the other hand, which you guys will see in a bit, it has the microphone on. Also the big necklace that he had to come to the ring with. So when you pose it somewhat correctly, you will see that it's like he's coming in doing the raps with the hand pointing at the crowd or whatnot with the
Mhm.
microphone in hand.
Mhm.
So that makes it really interesting. It's like, oh, he's coming into the ring with that. If Scott, if you can move to the third picture, then you'll see it. That's the render. And exactly, you can see that he's holding onto a microphone. You have the big necklace. Obviously the head can turn to the side. So, and also you point the fingers out to the crowd like that. So, I think this is one that's somewhat very interesting, in my opinion, because initially when Daniel was doing this, he had both hands were kind of straight, and I didn't like that.
Mhm.
And I asked him, I go, can you bend the arms L-shaped? Then that way, he can hold on to the microphone and looks like he's rapping. And then also the fingers, like how the way that it was pointed. So that's the entire mindset going into that. I think this is very, very this is much needed in my opinion.
And the accessories, you've got the hat.
Yeah.
Is the hat removable or?
The hat is not removable. The
Okay.
glass is not removable. One of the reason why when we signed that was we thought, in say for example our predecessor, there were a couple of figures that did not have the glasses.
Mhm.
Had the glasses rather, and the hat. Sorry, it's early. That's why I'm still talking a little bit. But yeah, so I thought, why not? Let's keep the glasses. Let's keep the hat. Okay, make the necklace removable,
Mhm.
and somewhat a little bit going back to its roots,
Okay.
of the quote unquote the retro style, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Paul, what are your thoughts on it so far?
I think it's fantastic. It's pretty cool. I've seen some of the renderings and stuff like that, and this is the first time we talked about how it moves and everything like that. I think that's a pretty neat idea. I thought it was really thought out, and like I said, I'm just pleased it's gone as smoothly as it is. I mean, it's taken a little bit longer, the process, but
Mhm.
now we're at that point where we're gonna move with it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And look at the likeness. You know what I mean? That nice, handsome, young,
It's really good.
looking face with the glasses and the golden microphone. There we go. Oh my God! Look at that. Yeah,
Well, we love it,
that's
man.
crazy stuff.
We are excited for it, and I know there are a lot of fans excited for it as well. Paul, I have to ask, I would kind of want to go back to the early 90s. Did you know about your Galoob coming out?
Yeah, we had to take pictures. We had to pose and everything for it and stuff like that. And so we knew they were going to working on it. And I think the original idea was it to be sold with a set of 5. I was in it. I think Bobby Eaton was supposed to be in it, among others. I think what was it? Rock and Roll Express.
Ricky
They were going
Morton.
to be in it and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
so it was yeah, it was going to be a cool little collection. But like I had problems with the company, and I left before they even produced it. So
Mhm. Well, we're super excited about this. Paul, we hope you're excited about it as well. And now you got to start doing cons so you can autograph some of these.
For sure.
yeah, I'm on September 30th. I'll be doing the show for Eric Sims there, and New Jersey, I've got like 4 appearances, and I'm looking forward to that. It's been a while since I've been up in the Jersey area. Should be pretty interesting. I'm replacing the late Mantar on that show, and yeah, it's going to be nice to see some of the boys. I don't do a lot of these, so if anybody is up in the Northeast and wants to see me, this would be the time to do it.
Well, I know that when this figure drops, and if you are doing quite a few cons, I know there's going to be quite a few of us collectors that are going to be bringing this to your table to get it signed.
Absolutely.
I look forward to it. Look forward to meeting all my fans, because after all, what is a wrestler without its fans, So
100%.
Yeah.
You brought up Mantar, and we would like to go into a Mantar video that was sent in.
Okay.
Yeah, give me just 1 sec here.
Sure. Paul, if you don't mind me asking, favorite match in WCW?
Dude, you know what? I should coming to these shows better prepared. But that's really a hard question. I'll tell you what, it was before I was even signed with them. I was traveling. I was hanging out with Randy Colley, Moondog Rex, and he had like a day-to-day contract with WCW at the time. He's the one who convinced me to come down there, and I'd already had like a dark match for WCW, and they said, "Yeah, we like you. Just gonna, wait a minute, because they were in transition from Dusty was just taking the book over from Ole Anderson, and so they're kind of in transition. I went and I had the dark match. They liked what they saw, and then I was just on the road, and me and Randy were in Pensacola, Florida. And so we're in front of a packed out house in Pensacola, and Randy's bummed his knee. So he went to Grizzly Smith and said, "Hey, my knee's hurting, but I got somebody here he's got his wrestling gear in the car. You want to, you could put him on instead." So Chris said, "All right, go get your stuff, kid." So I went and got my stuff, and I went on first with Brad Armstrong, and I actually worked what my original idea for the PN News gimmick was for it to be a heel, And the thing is I went on with Brad Armstrong, and I had known Brad from Germany. I think he came from a match over in Germany before that, right? So I was familiar with Brad, and I went on with him, and we tore the house down, and it was the first match. We set the tone for the night. It was a great show. I came back there, and Barry Windham and Grizzly, he's like, "You need to come to TV on Monday in Marietta." He says, "I don't care who we got to put you on. We're going to get you on TV." That's what, that's how Barry felt about it. And Grizz was in agreement. And so that's kind of how it all started out. But I still had to wait a couple months before I actually wrestled as PN News on TV. So
Understood. Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
yeah, no problem.
I actually have a question for you. What happened between your feud with One Man Gang? Because it was supposedly happening, and then it wasn't happening. So what happened with that?
Jesus, you only get part of the story. There's always telephone, telegraph, tell a wrestler, and not the whole story is never told, and you never really get the whole truth, because as soon as it goes to the next guy, then the story say, "Oh my God, he killed a guy in cold blood." What are you talking about? I bought him an ice cream cone. What the fuck, right? Seriously, that's the way it is behind the scenes, And what was the question? God, I just went into a rant there. Oh, so anyway, with One Man Gang, so the feud was starting, and we did the TV match in Sioux City, Iowa. I remember that because it's only like 60 miles from my hometown. So like my hometown of 1,800, I think like 1,600 of them were at the show, and it was at the Civic Arena. And then so the whole thing was set, and then I think it was the Citadel. So we were wrestling at the Citadel, and it was me and Gang on somewhere in the mid card, and he refused to do the job for me, and they fired him on the spot right there.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah,
Man.
and I know exactly what happened without being in the other room, because there are guys like Scott Hall and all those guys. They would have been winding him up. Oh, you don't want to do, you don't want to do the job for that kid, man. He doesn't have any respect. And at the time I was actually friends with Scott, but I just know exactly what happened. Gang got wound up, and because I don't blame Gang at all. You know what I mean? But I think Gang got, because in the Citadel, dressing rooms were really, the Hills were in one and the Babyface were in the other.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it's just a weird time for me, but that's basically answering your question, I hope, Sean.
Well, we would like to share a video from the late, great Mantar.
Hey everybody, Mike Halleck here, also known as Mantar from the WWF. I got some great news for you today, buddy. So, I just signed my first deal with KWK Action Figures. This series is going to be fantastic, man. You're going to get all you want and then some from KWK Hero Series.
That was awesome of him to send that in. And Sean, you could tell the excitement he had for that first figure to come out. Sean, can you kind of go into a little bit of what the idea was behind Mantar? What were you, when you signed him, what was your envision for that figure?
Well, first, I sorry, got a little bit touched up earlier. Seeing that video like that again. Basically, I was first in contact with Paul through a friend.
Mhm.
And then once Paul and I started talking, Paul was like, hey, let's bring Mantar as well. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it.
Definitely.
So that went on for a while, and I blame myself for that, because I needed to think of other ways to, like, make a bigger spectrum on things.
Mhm.
So and I really appreciated the fact that both Paul and Mike actually waited for me. And I'm sure during the time there were other offers as well, but they waited for me the entire time for me to figure things out and really to ensure that all the distribution channels were set, and also also to ensure that the whole thing is all properly set up in order for them to also get their profits as well.
Mhm.
So eventually that's why when I first announced signing Mike, I said it took almost 12 months. And it's true, because basically Mike and Paul both waited that long.
Mhm.
And it wasn't like, oh, the negotiation dragged or whatever. No, it wasn't. It was just them waiting for me. So
Got it.
that's the part where I felt so grateful about it, because let's be honest, you guys know how difficult it is for me to get wrestlers signed.
Right.
And both Mike and Paul are the first several wrestlers that right away they were like, okay, yeah, cool, we're in, but we need to sign a contract. And I kept holding that off, because I need to pan out the whole thing properly first. And
Mhm.
they were really, really willing to wait for me. And to this day, if it wasn't for them, the line would have been quite difficult to take off. Let's be honest. Because let's be honest, if you look at the design of the figures, if you look at how the figures look,
Mhm.
it really represent them. I mean, let's be honest, we don't have proper scanning like some big companies do.
Mhm.
It's all sculpted. So as you can see, the likeness. I mean, for the PNU's figures earlier, and also this Mantar, you can see the likeness on it.
That's incredible. I just got to say
that-
that figure is so spot on.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you this one thing because Jordan. Initially we were gonna use deco design on the on singlet for
Mhm.
this, and this for today we only show variant A. There's a variant B with the
Oh.
debut look that he has, but I think Scott, you and I talked before about the face paint. And remember how I said, when I used to talk to Road Warrior Animal about the face paint stuff. So when Mantar first debuted, he did not have face paint on. And I made the decision of let's keep this head, keep that face paint on,
Mhm.
even in the debut version. So that's why you see and you'll see it later on, I'm sure next week and somewhat before pre-orders, that you'll see the same head is on a different singlet, which was his debut look.
Paul, can you kind of talk for Mike of how excited he was for this figure?
Oh, he was like before. Oh, sorry, Paul, go ahead. I got
Paul, you've changed, man. No, really. I'll tell you what. He was pretty excited about the whole gimmick when I first talked to him. Sean got a hold of me, I said, Mike, this is a good opportunity. Let's just make sure we get the right contract and get a good deal out of it.
Mhm.
Seeing the prototypes and everything like that, I look at the gimmick. It suits Mike really well.
Mhm.
He was really made up, Mike and I think that is really cool. I like he called it, I guess Vince called it Betsy the cow. Because, that's what it looked like, but it's a shame, you know what I mean? Vince gets the needle about something, and then he kind of just puts a gimmick can take the back seat, because that wasn't cheap to make,
Right.
So but I think that's a great prototype. I love the bull's head, or the Mantar head, and everything.
Mhm.
Mike and I, in the end, before, Mike had just sent me a message on Monday, asked how I was. My birthday had just gone by, and we had a couple of emojis in there. You knew he was feeling in a pretty good mood, and then his girlfriend got a hold of me, and she said, "Hey, I hate to be the guy, but Mike passed away, and I found out that he'd fallen, and the thing that had happened with him is he was a really, really good amateur wrestler, and what an amateur wrestler would do, what would you do when you're falling? You're going to try and you're going to be like a cat. You're going to try and land on your front, right? And so he twisted. And when he twisted and he landed, he ended up fracturing 2 vertebrae in his back, and that's kind of how it started. And he said, he got home, and he got home, and then he went to the doctor, had the X-rays done, and everything like that, and then he ended up at home, and I don't know why he didn't go to the doctor, or to the hospital. But he ended up at home, and he took a painkiller for the pain, and he laid down, and his dad heard him snoring a couple hours later, and then he went in to check on him for dinner time or whatever, and he'd passed away. So but I really think this is a really good testament in the end, that the figure, because the people that are buying, purchasing his figure, all the money, all the profit in that figure is going to go to help his daughter, Demi, and his granddad, or his dad, Bob. So That's going to be, it's going to be a good thing. You know, it's going to be a good thing in the end, the doll, because it's going to help a good family out, you know, that's going to need help, you know. So, and it's an honest way. So if anybody wants to support him, they can go out and get his figure, you know. So, and like I said, it's a great product, and it's a great testament to a guy who we, you know, in the true sense of the word, we were brothers, because we didn't always see eye to eye, and it was the fact that we always made up. It was always a good thing, you know. We you know, and that was the end. We always made up with each other, and yeah, it was just sad. It was just, yeah, we lost one too early, but it seems to be happening quite a bit in the job nowadays.
Well, brothers do fight, but they always make up, right?
Yeah.
Well, Sean, you did a great job on that figure, and you and your design team did an excellent job on that figure. Paul, everybody's looking forward to the PN News figure. Everybody's looking forward to the Mantar figure. We sincerely want to thank you for taking time out and being on this live and showing off and helping talk about your figures.
Well, I'm just glad to be here. Thanks a lot. I always appreciate any giving me a moment to talk. Like I said, I don't take myself too seriously. I don't know why anybody would want to hear me talk, but I appreciate it, guys. And thanks for everything, Sean. Thanks for everything you're doing. We'll be talking in the short future, I'm sure. Since I am going to New Jersey, we need to discuss how we're gonna. No, well, not here on camera, okay? I don't want to give any trade secrets away. So anyway, thanks again, guys. All the best, and you guys have a great day.
Thank you. We
as well.
appreciate your time.
Cheers.
Cheers. Sean, we showed off PN News. We showed off Mantar.
Well, before that, let me just say something quickly.
Sure.
Initially up on Mike's passing,
Mhm.
I was thinking of pulling the figure.
Mhm.
I did, like, because I just didn't know if it was the thing to do.
Mhm.
So I talked to Paul, and I said to Paul, I said, should I pull it? Like, you know, because he's so close with the family. And I asked for his opinion. He said, look, you know, you might just well, you know, do it. You sign a contract, because they both got the same contract.
Mhm.
Like when I negotiated, it was pretty much, you know, both of them have the same contract. And, you know, it stated the you know, in the event the you know, the wrestlers pass,
Mhm.
the agreement continues with the family or the estate. So and Paul was like, just do that. Just continue with it. Don't drop it. You know, Mike wouldn't want you to drop it either.
Mhm.
And so, you know, we continue with it. And I feel it's beneficial to the family more than anything else. So, you know, that's why we're continuing with it, because I was already thinking of plan B, like,
Mhm.
because the prototype was already done. Like, he approved it several days before his passing.
Mhm.
And I was thinking, you know, is it the right time to do that? You know, but, you know, since Paul is so close to family, and, you know, Paul basically liaison with the family on both ends. So, you know, that's why it's continuing. We're still releasing Mantar. It's because of that reason. Because we can help the family.
I can honestly say that there would have been a lot of disappointed people, because there's a lot of people that love those 95 gimmicks, you know, and it hits them right in the feels. And
Right.
everybody has always wanted a Mantar figure. So,
and he definitely fits into that, because these are very Hasbro inspired. He definitely fits into that Hasbro era.
Right.
And one of the things that people really love about the Hasbros was the inclusion of accessories. And
Right.
by including the cow mask, as PN News put it,
the bullhead, the ram mask, the whatever you call it. I mean, the day that I showed him the render that he approved. Initially, he didn't approve it. The reason why was he forgot that the ram head, the bull head, had ears. He thought that it didn't have ears. I had to literally go online and show them the pictures. And they go, "Oh, it did have ears." I said, "Yeah." So,
I know, that's why I sculpted him on there.
so he was like, "Oh, okay, then yeah, that's right." So we went ahead with it. Yeah. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, we've showed off the variations of the Yoshi. We had the pleasure of talking to PN News. We've showed off the PN News figure. We've also showed off the Mantar figure. You've been teasing recently the 4th figure of Series 1.
Got to round out Series 1. Who's going to do it?
Well, before that, let me just say, I know people were expecting Kamala, and I kept it off for quite a bit because I was looking at the right time to talk about this.
Okay.
Unfortunately, back in late March, Kamala's estate decided not to work with us.
Okay.
At some point at that period in time, and then during that time, I tried all I could to renegotiate with them, and unfortunately, they still said no.
Okay.
So that's why I'm hoping after Series 1 that I have more solid numbers that I can actually present it to them and see if we can work again.
Okay.
I mean I have the prototypes here already,
and those look fantastic, by the way. So the figure collector in me hopes that you can double back and get Kamala back in the line.
You guys have no idea over the last several months of like how many people came to me and go, "Is Kamala coming out? Is Kamala coming out?" Well, it's not at this point.
Okay.
I can't, never say never in the future, but at this point, it's not coming out. I want it to come out. I mean, trust me, I wanted to, but you know what? I got to respect the family at the end.
Absolutely.
And the family said no, so here we are.
Mhm.
But around that time, I was in negotiation with this wrestler, and and after after Kamala's family decided to not continue with it, not to go through with it, then I thought, okay, we have to have him in Series 1.
Okay.
So here we go.
Well, since you're the creator and you've been teasing it, I will let you announce it.
Well, how about we let him announce it?
You know what? I would rather let him announce it in the video.
I like that better. Let's do that.
Hey wrestling fans, Paul Diamond here. As I have recently become a member of the KWK brand company, today we have some very exciting news. I'm here to announce the release of the Comet Kid wrestling figure, which was also known as Max Moon back in the day. There will be 2 different versions of the Comet Kid for you to enjoy. The original blue and the yellow, which I had used during my time with New Japan Pro Wrestling. These will come out for pre-order on August 1st. I hope you like what you see, and these figures become an important part of your wrestling collection. Thank you.
That is great news. We have the Cosmic Kid coming.
Comet Kid.
Comet Kid.
Oh, Comic Kid.
Yeah, not Cosmic.
When he first debuted it, that's what he was called.
Okay.
Yeah, and then later changed into Max Moon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are super excited about this. As you can see on the screen,
Well, no, not yet. Not yet. We're not sharing anything yet. Now,
you guys are so excited that you guys are like, wow.
we're excited.
I'm excited to show this figure because Sean, I hadn't seen this one yet.
Yeah.
And when I saw this picture, I was like, oh man, the Hasbro fanatics are going to go nuts for this thing.
Believe me, when I first saw the render, I was like, whoa, that, I mean, for me, like, because I had an idea, I have a thought, and I gave it to Daniel. And I said, Daniel, I said, make it like this. And it took quite a while because of the decals. The decals are so hard to do. It literally made Jordan tapped out, like for real. And like, that's why we brought in 3X Studios, because of this figure. The decal is so hard to do, and Adam from 3X Studios, he go, okay, let me do it. So, he got all the decals ready and all that. Wow, that was insane. When I saw the prototype, I was, oh my God.
So should we stop teasing it and just get into it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Should we just show this thing off? Like I'm so excited for the Hasbro collectors that are really just anxious to see. Here we go. There it is. Look at that thing.
Now, once you go into it, it's got the arm gauntlets, it's got a chest plate.
The arm gauntlet, there are 2 pieces for each gauntlet. And it took us about a week to figure out how to make this happen. And what happens is you have one side that clips on one part of the arm. So say, for example, you see my arm. Yeah, exactly. You can see the pictures. There's one clip on one side of the arm, and then there is another one on the other side that clips on to the other. So to make the 2 together to stay there and not fall. And we really had a lot of thoughts into it. I remember it was one night that Daniel was like scratching his head, wondering what to do. And I had to get up 4 in the morning, because you guys know by now that we all work in different time zones.
Yeah.
And that's one of the major thing that really got me not having much sleep lately as well. And and I was like, it was 4 in the morning, and I got up. I took the video and go, I just took some random cardboard and just go, do this, boom, do this, boom. And he started working on it. The decals, like I said, was really greatly done by 3X Studios. And the whole idea for this, and you can see, besides this figure, you will not be able to reuse anything again for this figure.
So this is one and done.
You can't because of the sculpting on the shoulders, on the torsos, even on the legs. Like, you can't, because there's no other figure like this. There's no other wrestlers like this. And that's why when I say it's flying in, I wasn't going to say flying in from the outer space, because once I say it's flying in from the outer space, people are going to know, oh, it's this, right? But when I was teasing it, I said it's flying in, and everybody thought it was Brian Pillman.
Oh,
but I was like, well, you just have to find out. And and that's like when I first saw that, man, whoa. And also, not only that, you can see the jetpack as well. And this is the yellow version that, funny enough, someone sent me this. And you know what? As a longtime New Japan fan, I never saw this myself either. Before anyone jumped in, I never saw this myself either. And someone was showing me this picture, and I was like, okay. And that was before I was even in negotiations with Paul Diamond. And once we started talking, and I mentioned this outfit, he go, yeah, we had that. I had that before. So yeah, so that got me thinking and go, okay, you know what? Let's celebrate that one too. Why don't we celebrate this one as well? Because, hey, let's be honest, he wore that before. So, that's why we are going to release this yellow version as well as the blue version that he's more famous for, both worldwide release. Because initially I was thinking about, okay, let's keep the yellow version like Asian exclusive. Then I was thinking, okay, you know what? if anything, let's just roll that out worldwide as well. It's his first figure, might just as well.
So if you don't mind, I mean, we are all excited about the Max Moon, as you can see right there. That will be Series 1 available for pre-order August 1st. That will be available. All 4 of these gentlemen will be available August 1st. I do want to go back real quick on the Max Moon. How tough was it to do the arm gauntlets and the chest plate?
Well, you should ask Daniel about that, but I can tell you just right now, the arm gauntlets, the cannons, were quite difficult for Daniel to work out of how it should be assembled on the wrist. That's why I mentioned earlier that I got up 4 a.m, took a video and sent it to Daniel and go, okay, you know what? I literally use a cardboard to kind of put it there. This is how you do it and all that. So, and that's why we got what we got for the figure. And I am still in absolute amazement to see that figure, because when I looked at the whole gesture or the posture of Comic Kid, and the way that I looked at it and go, okay, you know what? Let's have a look. And you guys know, right in front of me, I told you guys this before. Right in front of me is all kinds of Hasbro figures. And I looked around. I look at the straight arm. I look at the Gorilla Press Slam. I look at the headlock from 1-2-3 kit. I look at the jumpers, I look at the clothesline, and I was like, not quite. I mean, I even looked at the Rowdy Piper on the outside, and that's how I got the idea for Mantar and PNUs. But then I look at the Bret Hart, because you guys know how precious I feel about that red card, missing tag, green tag that I own.
Yep.
And I was looking at that and I go, okay. And right next to it was a Series 3 Hogan. So I looked at that and go, I think we can actually do a Max Moon through those. So I sent the pictures to Daniel and I said, you know what, let's do it like this. And it took a few tries to get the posture set up. And I'm just really glad of how this came out. I think it looks like absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, this is a strong Series 1 right here with PNU's Mantar, Yoshi Tatsu, and Max Moon. One thing we would like to do is we would like to show the cards of these figures as well.
I'm just showing 2 today.
Yoshi Tatsu.
Yeah. There are a couple more. There are a couple more. Remember when I mentioned about the whole trading card concept? This is it. The whole idea is, this is, as you can see, is 1 of 3 prototype carding, and this will be for the prototype chase to go in. So there won't be any confusion about pulling out a prototype and go, oh, let's just rip it out and all that. And this is the variant D, which is going to be for Yoshi's this is going to be for Yoshi's exclusive for himself to sell at conventions and around shows and whatnot. So we're gonna go with purple on this one, and the regular blue and red will be the worldwide release, and the green card is going to be a Asia, Australia, New Zealand release. So you'll get different cards for different figures. Now with Mantar, PNUs, and Comic Kid, these 3 will only have a blue card and a red card, because there's only 2 variants.
Okay.
And obviously, you will get the chase, which the 1 of 3 will be in gold, the 1 of 5 test shot will be in silver, and the 1 of 10 test shot will also be in silver. But the inserts for the chases is actually 1 of 1, 1 of 3, and 1 of 8, because 2 of each have been pulled out, one going to the wrestler or the estate of the wrestler, and the other one goes to me. So that's why. So that's why there's
rank has privilege. It's good being
You
the
are
kid.
the creator.
so that's why you're expecting pretty much the original prototype itself there's only 1 of each in each assortment. So, say for Yoshi Tatsu, you got the variant A, B, and C. We're not talking about the D. Okay. The variant D, there's no chase because it goes straight to Yoshi. So he will get a prototype, I will get a prototype. That's it. And the other 3, the variant A, B, and C will only have like 1 prototype in the entire insert. That's it. So
I can't purchase a prototype?
no, you can't.
You
can't. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, there's several really hardcore guys came to me and go, "You sure you don't want to sell the prototype? You just want to give it out?" I'm like, well, you know what? I would rather do that and see people opening a case. So a case is going to be like a case of 4 of the same figures for some people that really want to try that. So again, the whole idea of trading card concept. And I really want people to like pull out, each figure is going to come with protector, by the way. The old KWK figure bodyguard.
Oh,
nice.
Great.
It's gonna come in with that, but just not the outer box.
Okay.
It's just the clamshell. And I want people to like pull that out, and if they can see that they got the chase, the feeling that they're gonna have. I mean, these things are gonna be like really, really rare. Let's be honest. Scott, do you mind going back to the card again so I can show them the purple card if you can?
Absolutely. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, if you can see on the top corner, you'll see there's a stroke and XXX. And no, we're not talking about porn.
What?
Oh, man.
I thought this was where it was going. I was
So excited. Yeah, we're doing a crossover here. This is going to be great.
Yeah. Oh my God. You guys crack me up. But you see the XXX on there. That's actually going to be the number produced for that particular variant.
Okay.
So, say for example, so it's going to be like 1 of this, and each one of them is going to be 1 of the production amount. Okay. Because the whole idea is I want to make sure that when people get this, they know, how limited it is. And it's not something that that I just simply go announce and go, oh, we made how many of this or whatever. Now, obviously, I will request the factory to make maybe 30 to 50 more on each figure, just in case. The reason of just in case is not because, oh, I want to make more money off that. No. The reason for that is during production, you're always going to run into there are certain issue here and there, and it may miss out with the factory in terms of QC, even though I will closely monitoring that. But there can be issues. So those are going to be for replacement, in case any of these kind of stuff arise. Now, of course, the remaining ones, I mean, I hope there are not going to be that many of them, but who knows? Okay, but these little amounts, then if once everything is okay and everything's fine, then what I'm going to do is then I'll obviously sell them. And not only that, the wrestlers are going to get 6 of each variant, themselves. So, in Yoshi's case, he's going, besides all the variant Ds that he's going to get, he's also going to get 6 variant A, B, and C.
Okay.
And also each and every single one of the chases he's going to get. So he's going to get 1 of each chase and 6 of each of the variants. So either way, I will still have to make a little bit more from my side, but doesn't matter still, however many that they make, there's still going to be makeup of that number.
Okay.
And people will know, even though they may be running into that kind of production issue.
You've definitely put your thoughts into this, and definitely have planned ahead for certain things like that.
You have to. That's no way around it. It's in production. I mean, even with big companies, you get errors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to end up doing something which is like, okay, we just make this many, and we haven't left anything behind in case if something happens, because you always have to think about what if.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Series 1 available for pre-order August 1st. We will get
Right.
into where those can be pre-ordered later on. But with Series 1 already the pre-orders going live here soon, we need to look into the future.
Yeah.
Of Series 2.
Series 2, there's 2 already that's done, but let's talk about that in a bit. Series 2, the plan is right now, Taka Michinoku, La Resistance, which is Rene Dupree, Sylvain Grenier, and also TJP from United Empire right now, former WWE Cruiserweight Champion.
Yep.
I mean, as you can see, I got a Cruiserweight Champion and a WWF Light Heavyweight Champion from different eras here.
Yep.
Both of them working now in New Japan, by the way, which is funny. Yeah. And also the 2 that were initially in the original Series 1 that we pulled and moved to Series 2, which is Los Conquistadors.
Well, Scott will be bringing that up here. Los Conquistadors got moved to Series 2, even though they were for Series 1, but that's okay. Here we go. Look at those beautiful figures.
And I'll just kind of click through them here.
And then these are the ones that I'm super excited about.
They look so good. And again, an accessory. Gotta have that with the Hasbro style.
Yeah. By the time that we're going to produce this, I really will have to think about how to get these patterns on the cape, because these are going to be really difficult to make. So that's something I'll need to talk to the factory about, because I don't want it just like plain straight gold. It just won't work like that. So yeah, that's something I'll have to work on with the factory later on.
And Sean, is every version of the Conquistadors, because of course you went through all the variants and everything, is every version of the Conquistadors going to come with a cape?
Well, I guess I will push for that then. Since you mentioned it, I didn't think about it at first. I was thinking about 2 of the variants would, and then the other one wouldn't. But then the other one will kind of make the other 2 kind of blend, right?
Yeah, the robe definitely makes the figure, to say the least.
Okay, well, if that's the case, you know what? Let's just push for the robes as well.
That just happened.
All right, look.
Teamwork, baby. Teamwork.
Here we go. Cheers to that.
Well, the figures are coming out in Series 2 with TJP and Taka Michinoku, 2 former Cruiserweight champions.
And by the way, I think Series 2 will be the first time that we actually have jumpers.
Oh,
okay.
Despite the fact that before I mentioned about having no jumpers,
right.
But after talking to some collectors, And, there is actually a place for jumpers, but it has to go to the right wrestler.
Correct.
You're not going to put some random guy and just go, okay, let's just put a jumper on that guy. No.
And Sean, it's not going to be the jumping pose, right? You're actually going to have the jumping action as well, or is it just going to be the jumper?
I wish. Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
The action is very, very costly to do.
Understood. Okay.
Unless we have an enormous production of something like 20,000 per figure.
Okay, so just clarification for those listening that it won't actually be the jumping action; it'll just be the jumper pose.
The look.
Got it.
Unfortunately, as much as I want to push for action, and that was my initial thought of all the figures, it just costs too much to do. And for small production, and obviously it is going to be a small production, and you really can't, unfortunately.
Okay.
Especially with production costs and molding costs going up like absolutely insane. And you guys can see the details that we're putting in. That's also gonna play a major factor in the cost of production as well.
Okay. So I think it's almost time to round out the show, but we saved one last surprise for everybody.
If we haven't popped the crowd already.
Yeah, the Max Moon was fantastic.
I absolutely forgot about that one. Like, now that you guys mention it. Okay.
Well, in the chat,
you guys saw Comic Kit. Okay, you guys saw Comic Kit, right? Being Paul Diamond. And you guys know there was another famous gimmick of Paul Diamond. And no, I'm not talking about Bad Company, obviously. But we got the Orient Express with Pat Tanaka.
Pat Tanaka will be coming with the KWK line.
I actually, the funny thing was I signed Pat about a month after Paul Diamond.
Nice.
So that was, I contacted him around April because I wasn't going to contact Pat until I signed Paul Diamond. And once that happened, and with contracts and stuff, they tend to have to go through a lot of stuff before they sign. And right away, Pat was like real cool about it. Like, I had to go through some hurdles to get his number because his number is not easy to find.
Got it.
And even like a couple of days ago when I contacted Paul Diamond, he was like, I lost his number. It seems like he changed his number. I said, I got it. He went, what? You got it? Can you give it to me? So, I ended up giving him his number to Pat because they talk to each other a lot, but somehow, I think Pat's number was changed for whatever reason, and then like half of the world couldn't contact him. So
you reunited the Orient Express, Sean.
I literally reunited the Orient Express. That's just how it was. I ended up I literally I told Pat about signing Paul Diamond, and he was like, oh, then let's do Bad Company. I said, no, let's not do Bad Company. Let's do Orient Express. He was like,
sounds like Jeff.
It was like even better. So yeah, that's how it was. And like I was like, oh man, you know what? Unfortunately, I couldn't. I still have not been able to find Mr. Fuji's estate, and I hope I can. If I can, then that way, then you have the Orient Express, excuse me, and Mr. Fuji as the manager. Now that would be cool.
That would be awesome. And this match, the Orient Express versus the Rockers at the Royal Rumble, is probably the best opening match of all time, in my opinion. So young me,
it was a great match. It was
outstanding.
I still remember it.
Way better than it needed to be, right? But young me is going nuts right now, thinking of having the Orient Express Hasbros versus the Rocker Hasbros. And you bringing this to life right now is just, it's blowing me away. This is so great.
it's mind you, it's not going to be in series 2, but it's going to be later in the series. But
Worth the wait.
To me, they have to be made.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they have to
especially
be
as a
made.
tag team.
Right.
They have such a
Right.
history together, and if you have them both under a deal, if they're available to Sean,
Thank God.
I know.
I really went through hurdles to get to Paul Diamond and get to Pat Tanaka on this one. I had friends asking other people to get their contact, and Paul Diamond is not easy. It's not easy to get a hold of.
Mhm.
Like, really not be able to get a hold of. Especially, there's a funny story. After I signed him, his Facebook got hacked, and
Oh
and I used to contact him through Facebook directly. I went through like his Facebook and whatnot, and usually took him a long time to reply, and it was quite hard to keep in contact with him, and then finally he signed. I was like, yes, that's how that was like a big feeling I had, because like right in my mind I go, yeah, Comic Kid has to be made, and there's no way around it. And then I thought about Pat Tanaka, and I think I spent 2-3 weeks contacting people, like literally. Kyle Peterson helped, and Kenny Casanova helped. Other people helped as well. Like, he was that difficult to get a hold of, because he somehow, and then later I somehow stumbled onto a page that had the email of him. So I thought, like, you know what, let's just try my luck and just push for that.
Mhm.
So once I pushed for that, and he literally gave me his number through his email, and I said, okay, I'm gonna call you right away, right now. So I just called him. It was like really middle of the night. I think it was somewhere around like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Like, because of the time difference, I always have to be up really late to do that. And we talked, and I offered a contract right away.
Got it.
Yeah. So I'm really happy that I can put the two together.
So Sean, I've got to ask.
Yeah.
For us old guy AWA fans,
Mhm.
is Bad Company completely off the table, or is it something that we be determined off of sales of the Tanaka and Paul Diamond figures?
It will. I don't want to give you a concrete yes and no answer.
Understood.
Okay.
The reason for that is, it all depends on how well they will receive. And obviously, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting Orient Bad Company out as well. But number one, what attire we should go with.
Right.
Maybe you have some more ideas than I do, because I wasn't a big AWA fan as a kid. But I'm sure you were bigger AWA fan than I was. So maybe you can have some input on the attires.
Yeah, we'd love to talk about it for sure.
Yeah. So
Well, Sean, thank you very much for your time tonight. Pre-orders. Series 1 goes on sale August 1st at, there you go. In the US, you can find it at the Asylum store. In Canada, Wrestling Merch Machine. UK and Europe, Rock and Roll Collectibles. Australia and New Zealand, Wrestling Collectibles New Zealand. Asia, Shop KWK.
That's August 1st.
August 1st, right around the corner. And that will be for Mantar, PN News, Max, Comic Kid, Comic Kid, and Yoshi Tatsu as well.
Yeah.
Sean, thank you again for doing this San Diego Comic-Con. Well, KWK Comic-Con, I'll call it.
Well, we're still in SDCC, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is KWK Comic Con. It's the Comic Kid Comic Con, you know?
and before I go,
Uh-huh.
depending on how Series 1 will do,
Mhm.
I may dab my hands on another wrestling line.
Meaning?
There's an interesting tease right there.
Well, I'm just gonna be mentioning that right now, depending on how Series 1 does.
Okay.
But I have thoughts about it the last 6 months. So but I don't want to jump the gun. Baby step at a time. I don't want to like really bombard myself at this point, but if Series 1 does well enough, then I may consider doing another line.
Well, when you are ready to break that news, the Fully Posable Wrestling Figure Podcast is ready to have you on.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Send us more pictures. We'll do another live. We'll have you on.
We'll talk about Bad Company's gear.
Yeah, we'll talk
Sure,
about
yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. Pat said to me, "Do you want to do Bad Company?" And I said to him, I said, I'll consider it, but let's roll out Orient Express first.
Absolutely is the right decision. Yes.
And yeah, the WWF early 90s definitely did.
It fits into the Hasbro era. It's the perfect entry into that line.
Exactly.
I absolutely agree with that.
Sean, thank you again, everyone. August 1st, as you see right there, you can see where to pre-order these. August 1st, and we're looking forward to this Series 1. Great job on these figures. We know you put your heart and soul into these. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Sean, thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you, Sean.
For the Comic Kid Comic Con.
Really, thank you for everything, guys. You guys have been great.
Our pleasure. Thanks for your time, Sean.
Thank you.